The simplest thing you can do, of course, at any time in any of the elements is clear it up, clean it. But the important thing is that we're dealing with a storyline here. So you focus on what your story is. It may be cash flow, it may be a lack of energy, it may be life's journey, it may be career, the job's just ended. It could be something like that. You focus on what that is. With that in mind, then you follow your storyline. So the storyline we're on now is in the water area, scene 1. And you think, okay, I want this to flow, or I want something in particular to happen. Take a look at the images. They may be expressive of that, they may not. If they're not expressive of that, do something with it. If it's a picture that says the opposite, maybe take it down, maybe replace it. If you're calling for something, do something in specific, which is like you telling a story. The least you can do is just tidy it up and keep in mind the theme. I would like this to happen. I would like this to change. Keep in mind the theme, whether you're cleaning, whether you're clearing, whatever it is. I mean, you can't always just simply put something watery in there. It's a fish, it's a dolphin, it's a puffin, or the colour blue. And that's fine. That's fine. But it's not really about the object. What it's about is what the object is invested in for you, what you invest in it. So I'm standing at my front door. This is the water area of our house, scene 1. What I want you to do is to think of this quality, the quality of this area, and the water element, to do with your flow through life. So it's like a river. But the river doesn't just run one way, it doesn't run to the sea. It also runs towards you. So it's an internal and an external journey. So on the external journey, if you like, we're moving through life. We've got career, we've got our money, we've got our income. Water is to do with all things that flow. So all those things flow with us, if you like, to a certain extent. Cash flow, energy, life's energy, the amount of energy we've got. But it's also to do with what's internal. And what I'd like to do, I'd like to tell you about what happens in the village. I mean, we've got a little weir in the village, and every day for quite a long time, I don't know if it happens more than a couple of times, but this heron arrives and sits on the weir, and he really expresses the water element, because what he does is he sits on the weir, so he flies very slowly overhead, and then he comes down, lands in the river, and he sits there. Now the river runs past him like this, and he just stands really, really still with his feet in the water. But what he's waiting for is for the fish to come. And when the fish come, he takes his opportunity and he grabs one. Sometimes he'll be lucky and he'll get a salmon. Now, it's not a great thing for the salmon, because the salmon has a journey of 7 years when it goes out to sea, off on its life's journey, if you like, its 7-year cycle, and then it comes back and it goes up the river to spawn. And sometimes the heron will catch a salmon, which is like the prize for him. But if we take a look at the salmon in the river as well, the salmon, it doesn't always go with the flow. On its journey to the sea, it's actually going with the flow and following the river. But when it comes back once every 7 years, it's actually going against the current, and it has to strive very hard. And when it gets to our village, actually, it has to swim up through an eddy, or if it's fast flowing, it has to jump. And if it's tired, it goes into the slipstream. So between the heron and the salmon, there's actually a story here for us to understand what this is about. I mean, life can be a real rush, it can be rushing, and it can be really focusing on going for something and getting something. Sometimes we need to take a pause, just like the heron, and wait to see what's coming towards us or coming past us. And sometimes, like the salmon, we need to go against the flow. But when we're going against the flow, working hard, we need to recognize that we need to slip into that little eddy, that current. So I'm telling you all of this really just for you to get a flavor of the water element. So one thing you can do is, if you've got the door, the mouth of the house, or any door really in that scene one, but especially the mouth of the house, take a look at it. Take how is that door? Does it seem like what's outside just rushes in? Does it seem like what's inside just rushes out? And I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and I mentioned pause. To the Japanese, especially in certain ceremonies, in the tea ceremony, in the dojo, in martial arts, there's a pause, there's a reverence. You enter the space, this sacred space, whether it's for training for martial arts or whether it's for having tea, and you pause. And there's a thing that happens which actually is a threshold, which leaves what's behind before you enter. So is your door like that? Do you enter the home and there's a welcome because the door opens? You go in through it, and then do you pause and take a breath? Or you just rush in? Or do you just rush out? So one thing to think about with the water element there, you may not have a door, you may have something else, but what I'm talking about here is flow. So one thing you can look at right through your house, but especially in this water area, is how well does it flow? If you've got stuff in the way, then it doesn't flow. If you've got too much stuff, it doesn't flow very well. Yeah, I think that's enough said for now.